Hello to myself and everybody else. This is video 78. So far for this video, we're just going to take a look at more C++ stuff. And with this one, I actually just did a project on this one. And I got the project from this site over here. The Geeks for Geeks website. And this one basically just shows like 50 C++ projects for beginners and advanced. And so far right here, I just did the second one, the rock, paper, scissors one. Next time I'll probably do the casino guessing game. I skipped the calculator one because that one doesn't seem that bit complicated, but not something I was really interested in doing. So most likely, again, I'll just do number 3 next time. But so far, the whole thing is that I basically just did the second one here, rock, paper, scissors. And it's basically just, again, make a basic rock, paper, scissors game. The player puts in what they pick, the computer chooses something randomly, and then it puts out the output of who won and who lost. So far with this project, I didn't really, well, since you're watching the video, and I'm the only one watching it probably, I didn't record myself doing this because I was kind of just nervous. I just wanted to just see if I could do it, then just show it off. Next time, I will just record myself doing this so I can just see my process and everything like that. Because again, I'm like the only person probably watching this, so just show it off. But basically, I'll just kind of explain it in the way I kind of like did this. Basically, in the main part of it, I basically just first started by testing to see getting player input. So the first thing I did was string player choice. And with that, I made it so off the bat, it would just bring out a prompt saying type rock, paper, or scissors and press enter. So far, this part right here we can ignore for now. I put this in kind of like later on, but basically again, just a prompt for the player to type something in, and then it takes in the input of the player's choice. And then after that, I just made if statements to basically say if player choice equals a specific string, such as rock, paper, or scissors, then it would print out what's inside of the if statement. Originally, I just made it so it just printed something like this. Player picked rock. And I just did that just to test it to make sure it worked. I ran it and it did for a fact work. And again, I would show it, but again, it would just run the whole game like normal. But yeah, that's what I did. I typed all this out and stuff first, just again, getting the player's input, tested to see if the if statement worked and the input worked, and the comparing a string, if that worked as well. It did. So from that, I just went ahead and commented everything out, and then tested the computer getting like a random choice. So instantly what I did was I used my notes for this because the includes up here, I keep forgetting what these are. But yeah, basically I used include cstdlib and include ctime. These are two things needed. Basically allow for random numbers and allow for getting time, which basically you use to always like randomize what number you're going to get so the seed isn't always the same. And with that, again in my notes I got this, basically using sran time null ptr. Basically this right here allows it just to get a random number. And right here, just int computer choice equals ran %3. And so far the ran %3 right here basically means the maximum number you can, like the upper limit is 3. But in reality, really to explain that, it's so far with this, the computer basically will pick a number from 0, 1, and 2. This upper limit, it will never hit this upper limit. It will pick everything that's below this upper limit. So yeah, basically just 0, 1, and 2 is 3 choices of rock, paper, or scissors. So from there, I just tested to see if that will work, and that's why I have this commented out right here, which is basically just seeing to make sure this works and everything. So it would print the output of whatever the computer wanted. So basically just print out a bunch of random, like either it will pick 0, 1, or 2. Just I kept running with it, seeing what would happen. Once I had that down and everything, I just uncommented everything. And my main idea was to make functions because I wanted to test making functions, and this kind of helped prevent me from having to have like a huge stack of if else statements. Because basically, if I didn't use the functions, I would have had to do this. Like basically with if player picks rock, I'd have to basically inside this if statement do a bunch of if statements, basically 3 of them, saying if player or if the computer picks 0, 1, or 2, print this whole output out of player picked this, like player picked rock 3 times, computer picked rock, paper, scissors, and then if you win, tie, or lose, it's a whole thing. It would have took forever. So basically, I just made 3 functions. So if player picks rock, the rock function is taken and it will get the computer's input right here. If the player picks paper, then the paper function will run. If the player picks scissors, then the scissors function will run. And we'll look up here, see what these are. So basically, right up here is the first one, the rock function. Basically, with this, it's an integer, and the first thing it will take, the first parameter it will take, is an integer as well. I put notes right here so you can see that 0 is rock, 1 is paper, and 2 is scissors. And this is basically the if statement right here that would run. So basically, when the player would type in their command, so like let's say the player picks rock, it would run this. Player picked rock, run the rock command, get the computer's choice. And with the computer's choice, it would basically see like, okay, did the computer pick 0, 1, or 2? And with that, if the computer picked 0, which is rock, it would basically say computer chose rock, tie. Because by default, with this being a rock function, that means every single one of these, the player picked rock, so it will be the same thing. So if the computer picks rock, it's a tie. If the computer picks paper and the player picked rock, then the computer wins. If the player picks rock and the computer picks scissors, then the player wins. It just runs through these 3 if statements, seeing which one's true. And then from there, it just prints out these things as well. So basically, by default, in the if statement down here, we already print out what the player put. So in the function and stuff itself, it will just print out what the computer picked, and then the result of just, is it a tie? Did they win or lose? Things like that. We basically duplicated this function 3 times. 1 for if the player picks paper, and 1 for if the player picks scissors. And basically all do the same thing. We just had to mix up what the results would be, because it's still rock, paper, and scissors, each number. So again, player picks paper, and the computer picks rock, then the computer wins, the player wins. Just basically switching up the results every single time, what it would print. That's just the main difference I had to do. But yeah, beyond that, from there I just test it, make sure it works. Again, I'll run it in a bit. I'm just running through like everything I did and stuff first. And actually, you know what? No, let me go ahead and just run this right now. So base right here again, type rock, paper, or scissors, and then press enter. So again, we press rock, hit enter. It says player picked rock, computer chose paper, computer wins. We'll do rock again. Player picked rock, computer chose scissors, player wins. And this time we'll pick paper, just to switch it up. Player picked paper, computer chose scissors, computer wins. Again, as you can see, it switches up each time. Sometimes I choose the same thing, but it's out of like 3 choices. So again, can be random. Both times we both pick paper, it was a tie. So again, we're just making sure it works and everything like that. The main thing that I did, because you're probably wondering how come it kept like, each time I put in a command, why would it run again? That's because I put in a while loop. It took me just kind of experimenting to see where to put this as well, because I just kind of had to see exactly where to put it. But basically with a while loop, it says while player's choice is not equal to exclamation point, then it should run all the code and stuff down here. Once it's an exclamation point, you can see the if statement the else if statement right here. If it's an exclamation point, just say thanks for playing. and then it should stop running. Same thing with down here, I have the other else statement of if the player basically types in something that doesn't make sense, so they don't type in rock, paper, scissors, or an exclamation point, it will just say unknown input, try again, and then it will give them a chance to type something else in. So again, we can just run that real quick to see how it is. So again, let's say they just type in rocks with an S, unknown input, try again. They misspell paper, unknown input, try again. So they try it again, rock, run it like normal. And then if it's an exclamation point, it says thanks for playing, and it stops running. So that was just how it went with making this. Again, it is a thing where I probably should have recorded myself doing this, but I was just kind of nervous because I was like, I just want to see if I could figure this out. But yeah, next time, even if it takes me like an hour, which this only took me maybe like 20 minutes just to type it out, and that's it. 20, 25, something like that. So again, just basically just coming up with this on the fly, like 20, 25 minutes. But yeah, so the next one, the casino game, I will try to just like see what I can do and just basically program it on the fly so I can see how it works. So that one might be a pretty long video, just a lot of testing and stuff like that. But still, again, mostly this video's for me. Probably nobody else will watch it. But yeah, so from there, again, just a lot of stuff learned from the video as well. Again, from the free coding camp, that 31-hour long video, and also that programming with Mosh video. Again, both of them have been really helpful, taught me a lot of stuff, gave me confidence to be able to do this, because in college I had an assignment just like this to do as well, except there was a bunch of addendums to it where it was like we could only use a set amount of functions, a set amount of like code, a set amount of lines, and different things like that. The hard part was none of us knew the programming language, so trying to learn this on the fly while having a bunch of other work, yeah, that really didn't teach you that much. It just made everything crazy complicated. So the fact that I'm learning more from just watching YouTube videos than I am 8 years in college should say a lot about college in a nutshell. But yeah, either way, again, I'm glad I'm learning a lot. And the next one, I will just straight up try to program on video so I can just show off that I can actually like solve something. And plus I can see my own work method and everything and stuff as well if I ever need to again. So yeah, all that. I'm just rambling right now. But yeah, so basically again, that's really it. To myself and everybody else, see you in the next one.